host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are, let's go subscribe to my channel. Thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I've got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there somewhere. Takes you to my Facebook group called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,700 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff I am putting stuff in that group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, the stuff just keeps on rolling on here, guys. Of course, there's the we're going to talk about a couple free agents out there that's always, morons like me keep reading those ads, a lot of stuff going on. But one of them I saw was, a lot of things, at least for the most part, being said relatively nice, about Mr. Dart here. Hey, what's going on? Hope to get you where you are. Hope to get to where you are with my pun. Oh. All right. Well, I got it's a lot of work. So best of luck to you. Just keep grinding away. But one thing you gotta remember too, right, is that if you enjoy what you do, love what you do, and all that stuff, you're never working a day in your life, right? So I mean, I would basically do this for nothing. This is just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of things out there, that get me excited and all that. I'm a Met fan. I'm a Knick fan. I'm a Ranger fan. All that. But it's the Giants. That's what gets me. That's what really gets me going. So I do this. This is fun. I really enjoy this. Especially being up at 11:20 on a Monday night talking about the Giants, right? It's a lot of fun. You do it from your heart. But one thing I've seen a lot about is like with Jaxson Dart. A lot of good things. Obviously, there are some some negative things I've seen. Obviously, the Giants could have drafted John Elway or Jesus Christ or Peyton Manning, and of course there'd be some negative stuff said about it anyway. But a couple things that they seem to really like about him quite a bit. We'll be talking about a couple things here as far as with the quarterback here, but this one here, one of the things. This is Jaxson Dart had the it factor for the Giants. Since being hired by the Giants, Joe Schoen has spoken about a process that he and head coach Brian Daboll have in place regarding player evaluation, particularly when Schoen is called the most important position on a team. Most important position, pretty much in all sports. You need a goaltender, obviously, obviously in hockey, you need pitching and baseball, but the one that really, to me, it's the quarterback, right? I mean, if you don't have a real good quarterback, you need a real good team around you. You know, but so they say the process leaves no stone unturned, from regular attendance at games to talking to coaches and people around the community who are familiar with the athlete to private workouts and interviews themselves. I mean, Shane's, said this before, and I brought this up before, on, my videos. One thing he talked about is, even just simple as just like, how does he treat the workers in the cafeteria? I mean, if he's got his tray out and he walks over to the cafeteria. Hey, let's get some meatloaf over here now. I'm the quarterback of the team. Let's go. I mean, does he do that, or is he? Hey, can I have some mashed potatoes with that too? Thank you so much. Right? When they're out at a restaurant, right? I mean, because they always take these guys out to eat too. This is huge. You know what I mean? They're sitting down, they're talking. Jaxson Dart's here. The guy comes and pours some water in Jaxson Dart's glass. Does Jaxson Dart go and continue talking to Shane, like this? Or, right, the guy pours glass in Jaxson Dart's, pours water in his glass, and Jaxson, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And he goes back, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, that's not a deal breaker. Well, they didn't say thank you to the waiter, so we can't. He'll probably win us the next 37 Super Bowls in a row, but he didn't say thank you to the waiter who poured him water, so can't draft. No, I mean, that's not going to happen. But, it's all, I think I heard, especially with quarterbacks and all, nothing means everything, but everything means something. Right? Like, not saying thank you to the guy who's pouring your water. All right, that doesn't mean everything, but it means something. Right? So that this, so it's talking to their neighbors and stuff like that. Or, just for instance, I had, oh my God, I don't know, I suppose maybe about 20 years ago, I guess. It was a knock at the door, and it was a state trooper. And I'm like, open the door up. I'm like, what the, I'm like, am I getting arrested? What's going on? No, I mean, what the state trooper was going around, there was a guy down the street, a neighbor of mine for quite some time, who wanted to become a state trooper. And what happened? The state trooper, they send around people, right? Talk to his neighbors. How is he? Is he a nice guy? How's he treat everybody? Stuff like that. Same thing with, and it's just not quarterbacks, right? They send people out to the colleges. How is he? How is he with the people? How is he in the classroom? How's he talk to the teachers? How is he this? So it's, as I said, everything isn't, or one thing isn't everything, but everything is something, right? So in Jaxson Dart, whom the Giants traded assets to acquire this year's recently completed draft, the more the Giants dug into their evaluation process of the Kaysville, Utah native, the more they liked what they saw. And just to be honest with you, and now once again, I mean, there's all kind of steals in the, I certainly ain't calling this a steal. Right? We got to see what the guy can do. Right? Because remember we had Dave Brown, supplemental draft pick, Dave Brown, right? So, but I mean, if this guy winds up being the long-term solution for the Giants, we gave up a second and 2/3. That's not too bad. We didn't even trade away a first-round pick. So, once again, we'll have to wait and see. But let's see. So, SI.com Albert Breer dove into the details that went to the Giants' evaluation of Dart, including how they used their experience scouting Josh Allen. Now, there was another, oh my God, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know. There was another article that said how the Josh Allen experience helped the Giants get Dart or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let me look at this article. And it took me about 3.5 months to read it. I'm like, I can't. This video will be 3.5 light years long. I mean, so I couldn't read it, but there was a good article, long, in depth, and detail about how the Giants. I mean, obviously, right? Shane and Daboll were there when they got Josh Allen, which is huge. And it was Josh Allen. Wasn't like it was John Elway. This guy, or Andrew Luck, or Peyton Manning, one of those guys come out, draft this guy. This, there's no question. This is your quarterback for the next however many years. Just draft them, put them in there, turn them on, and we'll see you in 15 years, brother. Go win us some Super Bowl, right? Right? Josh Allen wasn't that. Josh Allen certainly can be that. He just has his hard time of beating the Chiefs. but Josh Allen, need to be a little polished, right? Kid out of Utah. Not Utah, Wyoming. Utah. From Wyoming, right? You need a little bit of polishing. So, and of course, in this draft class, wasn't as good as last year's quarterback draft class. Everybody needed a little bit of polishing. Even Cam Ward. Because I would keep hearing, if Cam Ward was in the draft class last season, right, he would be like maybe quarterback number 4, maybe number 5. So one of, let's see, including how they used to experience scouting Josh Allen during their time with Buffalo as a benchmark for what they were looking for in their next signal caller and why they think they found it. They think they found it, and actually finding it can be two different things. So, but I hope they found it. One of Dart's biggest X factors, traits that drew the Giants' brass interest was how the young signal caller conducted himself in and out of the huddle during games. And even that, like on the field and on the sideline too. What really stands out about how Jaxson is his passion for the game, leadership amongst his teammates, and the ability to cross sides of the ball, Shane told Breer. Like he's not just sitting over with the offense the entire time. I'm not making fun of nobody, nothing. But it's just one of the things that just jumps out at me, right? This is just something that popped into my head. So not many things pop into my head, but a lot of times, like I just remember, like Cam Newton, right? He'd come off on the sideline, right, and he'd get the towel, put the towel over his head, tuck it in his jersey, the towel over his head. He'd come on the sideline and he'd just sit down there. He might be watching, looking at the computer or something, whatever like that. But he always has the towel sitting down, right? A lot of quarterbacks just sit down here, sitting down with the coach, they're sitting down by themselves. Maybe they get up, and they talk to the offense, maybe give them a pep talk or something, and they go back, sit down or whatever. What are they doing on the sideline while the game's going on, right? So one of the things that did stand out was how Jaxson, presented himself on the sideline. And it wasn't just with the offense either, right? Like he's not just sitting over there with the offense the entire time. You see him interacting with the defense as well. Now he's going to have some cojones. Some cojones, if you know what I mean. If he's interacting with Sexy Dexy and Brian Burns and Kayvon or Carrot Gay and those guys, the grizzled veterans, shall we say, right, of the Giant, so. He's got to do some proving first before he can dibble and dabble on that side of it. You know what I mean? So, but that's a big part of the live exposure. What's he doing on the sideline, right? You have a bad throw or you have a 3 and out and you come over to the sideline. Who are you interacting with? Which coaches? Are you talking to your receivers? Are you talking to the offensive line? Are you by yourself? Are you not? Right? You're just sitting by yourself, You get back up, you go to the sideline, watch the defense out there, right? 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 The defense, the other team has the ball. Your defense is on the field. What are you doing? You're sitting there. Just doing an interception. Or you're getting up there. You're watching the defense. That's like that's like a lost art. I mean, not too long. I mean, unless you're like maybe in a Super Bowl, it's like the final minute of the game or something like that. I mean, how often do you see a quarterback in the NFL come on the sideline, right, talk whatever, and get up and start yelling for his defense? They're on the sideline. You don't usually see that, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're usually on the sideline, like, looking at the, right, looking at the plays, talking to the coach, looking there, just sitting down there, right there. Yeah, got a little Gatorade, putting that down. Yeah, looking around there, right, looking around. Hey, what's up, man? Once again, I'm an old fart, blah, 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 but kind of, 800 years ago, when they used to, guys were on the sideline, they're on the sideline. You see a lot of guys standing on the sideline, or they're kneeling down. They got their helmet, they're kneeling down with whatever they're calling out, to the defense or something. It's just not like, I'm going to go sit on the bench until the defense is done. Yeah. So, let's see. In addition to Shane being impressed with how Dart conducted himself on the field, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka was also impressed. Kafka got to observe Dart up close during the Senior Bowl. So this is one of those things too, because you'll notice a lot of times the Giants wind up sending a lot of their coaches, which is cool. One of the real beneficial things about sucking, okay, is when the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl and all is going on. The good teams, right, or in the playoff push. Well, the Giants ain't no pushing no playoffs, right, except for 2022, right? But, for the most part, when you suck, you're at home, right? Well, the Giants got a lot of coaches to the Shrine Bowl and the Senior, all that stuff. So that is freaking huge. You get to talk to, I can remember Kafka, right? He was the head coach of one of the teams this past season. Right. He's talking to these guys. He's up close and personal with these guys. Right. So that's huge. And Kafka is still with the Giants for this season. You don't know. One of these years he might get a head coaching job, which would be great for him. But he is the Giants. That's huge, huge. Dart up close so Kafka got to observe Dart up close during the Senior Bowl in an environment that while structured like any other week of football, was also informal enough for him to observe how Dart conducted himself when he thought no one was looking, which was Dart's ability to connect with his peers. Leadership aside, Dart was also impressed by his job interview with Daboll. He came in prepared when Daboll presented an installation that Dart had to learn overnight during his top 30 visit with the team. That was something that Sanders did not do. I've heard a couple different things, but one thing was with Sanders was that they had an install, but apparently there was some errors or something in there, and I think Sanders didn't point them out, or he just basically really was not prepared. And he's supposed to be prepared. Last time I checked, right? He go in there, he's supposed to, and apparently he wasn't prepared. Daboll, called him out on it. Shador was a little ticked off by that. Right? And of course, Daboll was ticked off that Shador was didn't go too well. But I did hear also that possibly Shador was sandbagging some of his interviews for teams maybe he didn't want to go to. That maybe the Giants was one of them. That's possible. I can't blame the guy. Although, if you're supposed to be a quarterback, drafted in the, all that stuff, you're supposed to put your best foot forward no matter what, regardless. You don't want to burn no bridges. Because don't you think Daboll, somewhere along the line, is going to remember this, right? But, the Giants have been pretty much a dumpster fire since, I don't know, Jesus Christ walked the earth. So maybe this was one of the interviews he was trying to sandbag. I don't know. So, but one of the things you'll never know. But there was then there was the workout itself, which Dart, according to Breer, also threw the ball well in comparison to his peers. Dart had his private workout before his pro day, where he impressed. With all the boxes having been checked, Dart still didn't land among the top 3 players on the team's board. So the plan was to go with whomever Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter weren't selected by the Browns, who obviously picked the Browns picked one spot ahead of the Giants. Now, I guess, obviously, if Ward was there, I'm sure he probably would have been taken. But obviously, you kind of felt pretty 99% sure that the Titans were taking Cam Ward. I don't blame him either. You think that you do to the future, you take them, right? So, and then it was basically up. Who are the Browns taking? Well, it didn't take anybody. They traded back, right? I can't blame him for that either. Although, Travis Hunter's a pretty special guy. So, so Jacksonville jumped up. Who is Jacksonville going to take? They took Hunter. Can't say we got stuck with Carter, but we got Carter. Cool. Can't have too many edge rushers. Right. So, Texans general manager Nick Caserio, I believe it is, who ultimately held the key for the Giants, recently said a few teams were looking to trade into the Texans' number 25 spot. The Giants, of course, were one of them, and the Falcons and the Eagles were reportedly among the others. Ooh, I wonder who the Eagles were trying to trade up for. That would have been interesting. Fortunately for the Giants, the Texans didn't insist on the 65th pick, the higher of the 2 third-round picks held by the Giants, but they did get 2 third-round picks, though. So, had that been a non-negotiable condition, the deal for the Giants might never have gone through. So, that's now I'm wondering, though, if the Giants traded away, obviously, pick number 34, right? So if they had to give up pick 65 and not 99, I'm sure they wouldn't have to given up a 3rd-round pick next season. Maybe they would have to give up, I don't know, a 5th or a 6th round, but that would have been interesting to see. I wonder if that would have been a deal breaker. Interesting. Very, very interesting. One of those things you'll probably never know. In the end, the Giants being so high up in the 2nd round, they were a 2nd pick in the 3rd round, right? They were 3rd on the clock that day, helped Big Blue land, whom they hope will turn out to be their very own version of Josh Allen one day. Said, well, ain't nobody going to be Josh Allen. He is not as one thing I do got to give Dart is, let's hope he changes his ways. But the dude takes the contact. Once again, let's hope he changes his ways in the NFL. All right? Because there's no Chuck E. Cheese State University Tech School of the Blind in the NFL. Everybody's Alabama. And you start running into guys or whatever, you're going to get your head knocked off. So let's hope he starts sliding, getting out of bounds or whatever. But let's hope he's not taking that kind of contact. But he's not Josh. Josh Allen can take on some contact. Josh Allen's a little bit bigger than he is. So there was, of course, another article. There's a bunch of articles here I like, but the Jaxson Dart leadership moment that impressed the Giants. Beyond their football skills and athleticism, there are certain intangibles NFL teams look from a quarterback. And there's one particular moment from Jaxson Dart's senior year at Ole Miss that led the Giants to believe he could be a leader in addition to an NFL passer. While GM Joe Schoen watched Dart, whom the Giants took at number 25 overall after trading back into the 1st round, on the sideline during an Ole Miss rivalry game against Mississippi State. That's a huge game, right? Right. The day after Thanksgiving, as he recalled to Sports Illustrated, he saw Dart interacting with the defense, which he found telling. What really stands out about Jaxson is his passion for the game, leadership amongst the teammates, and how he can cross sides of the ball, Schoen told SI. Like he's not just sitting over there with the offense the entire time. You see him interacting with the defense as well. That's a big part of the live exposure. You have a bad throw, and I did talk about you have a 3 and out. You come over the sideline. You just sitting by yourself, or you just talking to the quarterback. Who are you talking to, right? You get back up, you go to the sideline, you watch the defense out there. Those are all things that we're watching and evaluating, which is huge. 2 years earlier, according to SI, Dart received advice from former Patriots offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss, who told him how Tom Brady built relationships with players across the roster and not just on the offense. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Dart, who turns 22 next Tuesday, will have the time to develop as the Giants declared Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback. So he's only 22. So, I mean, you know, if I'm just saying, if we have for 10 years, right, he'll still only be 32 years old. So he got a lot of football ahead of him, right? But I mean, it's not easy, you know. I mean, you know, to go over there and cross lines and stuff like it, you know. I mean, you know, it's not easy, and obviously, you know, very rarely I don't see it. I mean, you know, of course, you don't always get the spotlight on the quarterback, what's he doing every second of the game, all that. But a lot of times you just see the guy on the sideline just either sitting with the quarterback coach or the quarterbacks, or he's talking to his receivers or the offensive line. Something he's not over there talking to the defense or something like that. So, but that means a lot, you know. Right now, as I said, you know, Dart's being a rookie coming, especially if he's not playing. Yeah. He's gonna have a hard time going over there talking to Dexter or something. You know, come on, guys, let's go. You know, what I mean? So he's got to ease into that, right? Especially since Dexter will just pick him up and eat him, right? So there's a lot of good things about Dart. It's going to be very, very exciting, right? The nice thing about this, right, is that with Dart, okay, is that, you know, it gives you hope, and that, you know, and that's all you ask for. You know, obviously, do you want a Super Bowl? Yeah. Do you want playoffs? Yeah. Do you want to win a division? Yeah. But at least we have some hope. You know, we're not in the Daniel Jones, you know, Twilight Zone era. You know, is he the quarterback or is he not? He did good last week, but then he sucked this week, and then but he was hurt, but he's okay now. Is he going to be there? Are we signing him? Not signing him? We keeping him? We letting him? What's going on? We've only had him for 6 years, you know what I mean? So, oh my God. So at least we have some hope going forward, right? So, and it'll be very exciting when he does get in there, right? Very, very exciting, because the one nice thing is that if you do get your quarterback, right, you know, it's like, whew, you know, you got hopefully 10 years, 50, whatever, right? Of we got ourselves a quarterback, right? So.